Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today, I am excited to bring to you from Transformers Robots in Disguise. This is the Wave 3 one-step changers, Drift, Thunderhoof, and Fracture. Now, as some of you might already know, I reviewed Wave 2. You might be wondering where Wave 1 is. Well, I'll be very honest. Another reviewer got their hands on the Wave 1 figures before I could, and unfortunately, at the time, the prices on Amazon were just too high for the figures. Sideswipe is that switchblade opening, butterfly knife opening type of design that I think is getting a bit overdone. As we'll see with Drift, Bumblebee has the same transformation. I do have Strong Arm and Underbite, and Strong Arm unfortunately has very thin limbs that I am concerned will break over time, an incredibly heavy backpack, and Underbite is far and away probably the worst one-step changer I've ever experienced, which is a shame because I thought it was one of the best at first. It unfortunately has a severe design flaw in its transformation gimmick that over time the spring will disengage and you won't be able to keep Underbite in its robot and beast form. I don't know if it's how to fix it. I don't even know if it can be fixed, and if it is fixable, is this something you'll have to do repeatedly over time? Now the prices have come down on Amazon, so I can recommend sort of Bumblebee and Sideswipe if you still are interested in that butterfly mold and don't want another Bumblebee figure. But Underbite, definitely stay away from. At no price is the figure worth it. And we'll get into it with Fracture, but I was actually even concerned that gimmick design scheme was reused for Fracture. Well, starting us off on these figures, we're going to take a look at Drift. So let me just move these guys out of the way. And as you can see, Drift looks very similar to its Warrior class figure, which I've previously reviewed. Same color scheme, same paint layout. It even has that nice little ram's head design on the front. And of course, this was based off of the Bugatti car from Age of Extinction. Of course, modified since this is unlicensed. Rolls quite nicely. Now, the transformation is, like all one steps, rather simple, and this is a new design for Robots in Disguise. But as I said, this has already been used on Bumblebee, I'm fairly certain. Basically, what you want to do is come in underneath the front bumper and rear bumper, and there's this black hinge section. Holes here for you. You just basically want to go in and pull that down, and that will and as you're doing that, flip them down to form a front uh, standing platform, basically like that. And there you have Drift in robot mode. Just going back, just like that. There is actually a spring mechanism here in the back, but I'm not really sure what it does. I mean, you can push this in, but it doesn't spring up. I hope mine's not defective or anything, but once again, just go ahead and bring it up, and as you can see, you have to kind of flip the roof and back paneling of the car over, but there you have Drift. Very simplistic in the colors, just basically using the orange and black. For articulation, as you can see, the arms can just go up. That's about it. No head articulation, nothing like that. It's actually, believe it or not, a little more brickish than other one-step changers, basically because this whole lower section is all joined on that central shaft unit. But it's fun. It makes a nice little desk toy. And again, as I said, just going back, pull that apart, and you're back in your car mode. Unfortunately, like the butterfly knife design, this does suffer from having loose paneling when you turn the car upside down, but how many people are going to do that? Next up, Thunderhoof. It took Hasbro nearly 30 years, but finally they're able to make a toy based on a member of the Stallone family. Sorta. As many of us know, Thunderhoof is voiced by Frank Stallone, brother to Sylvester Stallone. I gotta say, this is a really cool toy and a really cool vehicle. There is some articulation here with this front fork. I think in packaging it's actually positioned up more like this, but I think for vehicle mode you do want to have it down. You will be rotating it for transformation. Very nice skyish turquoise blue with a nice little sheen to it. There is detailing there, which we'll get to in robot mode, which we're going to get to right now because transformation is really easy. What you want to do is grab this front end, go ahead, pull it down, bring it around the back. Doing so will swing the legs out, and then you're going to click this into place here at the top, and that will, of course, pop out the arms. Go ahead, flip that grill down, or fork down, because as you can see, Thunderhoof has its horns, or I'm sorry, antlers, and there you go. Articulation, he can move the arms. They are in a permanent, I would say about 45-degree bend, maybe a little more, which is kind of good. You can get some rather expressive poses out of it. One thing that kind of upsets me is and again, I don't know if it's just mine. I don't even know if you can even really notice. The head neck section that's on this bar that basically is the whole transformation gear. It doesn't peg in straight, so the head can sometimes look a little crooked. Other than that, you can see there is some seafoam green, metallic seafoam green here on the legs. Black spots of red here. Then here on the waist with some more of that green around the codpiece area. Silver breaks up the blue. And what's kind of cool is these were smokestacks in vehicle mode, but it kind of looks like now he's got little shoulder lasers. The head is very nice and expressive, as a lot of these villains are, as you can see. Unfortunately, I will freely admit and mention, as Hasbro has stated, not all the villains are going to get figures, and not all the figures are going to be warrior class. I'm fairly certain we've heard that Thunderhoof will be getting a warrior class figure, but I'll be honest with you, if not, I'm kind of happy with this. Now to transform it back, you can just go ahead and pull the rake out, but what I would do first is the arms can peg into the side, and doing so frees up the head. So just go ahead, do that, and then just swing this whole section back around, and it will clip into place right here in the front. Go ahead, adjust the rake, and you're back into Decepticon tractor mode, because Decepticons, they got some plowing to do. Finishing us off is Fracture, which I think is the best one-step changer of the wave, and honestly, the lines put out thus far. There's a little neck and neck with Fix-It, but I just tend to be a bit more of a sucker with motorcycles. Like I said at the beginning, I was concerned going by photos and blurry packaging pictures with the instructions on front that Fracture was going to use the same gear spring transformation gimmick as Underbite, which means over time this would break down. It doesn't. It actually uses a very similar transformation to Thunderhoof, but just pulled off in a different way, but it's the same basic mechanism. Basically what you have to do, by the way, the motorcycle does roll, is you want to grab the front wheel and grab the rear of the bike here, just so because this is all going to flip out, and start folding it in on itself. And when you get to right about here, everything springs forward. There's a nice little notch that the front of the bike will sit into, and there you have Fracture in robot mode. One more time, just like that, and boom, there you go. You can swing the arms forward. Very nice. I gotta say, it really is a cool figure. I like the purple. There are some, again, accents of metallic red. This is a very metallic purple color to it, which is kind of cool. It's interesting that the Decepticons in this wave have like a metallic sheen to their colors, and Drift doesn't. The head, I don't know if Fracture's been featured on the cartoon yet. I haven't seen it, but there's the head, as you can see, very animated and expressive, which is what these cartoons do. Um, but yeah, I just think it's a great figure. Everything folds up tightly, neatly and nice and neat. Nothing fancy schmancy. The hands are a little bit like claws, and yeah, like I said, I really can't say enough that I think this is really the best one step they've put out in this line thus far. Um, One thing I forgot to mention on Drift that I'll mention here on Fracture, when you put the arms back down, they do soft friction into place so you know that they're in the right position. To transform it back into vehicle mode, go ahead, grab what was the rear section of the bike behind its head, begin to pull out the wheel, and what'll happen is you'll get to about here, and this is where everything comes together. So it's literally at that last moment, the figure just folds up. Now, Fracture, we know, is getting a larger figure that'll be a deployer. Um, I don't know if we're going to get something that's a warrior class, because the deployer will pretty much be more in the hyper change style of transformation, because really the gimmick with that will be launching out the discs. Or in Fracture's case, would be like little Decepticon torpedoes. That we've seen animation for already. But other than that, I don't know. Legion figure, who knows? But if outside of that deployer figure, if this is the only version of Fracture we get, I'm kind of cool with it. I know for many fans and collectors, the mention of a simplified Transformers line causes them to turn up their noses, which is a shame because they miss out on some fantastic engineering and design. Taking a vehicle to robot idea and doing it in as little steps as possible, but still being unique. Each one of these figures transforms in its own unique way, while retaining characteristics of the character. These could all just be push button designs and using the same basic core brick with a different shell part here, but each one is different. This one folds in half. This one you pull a lever down and around, and this one you pull a lever over backwards. Okay, these two are a little more simple. But these are just really fun toys. Now, if you're only going to buy one, I have to recommend Fracture. I just think it's the best there is. Simple, and it's a tight transformation. Like the vehicle mode is very tight, not a loose paneling. Right behind it is Thunderhoof. I think it's very similar. Fracture is really only wins out because I like motorcycles more. That doesn't necessarily mean Drift is a bad figure. It's just I don't see a lot of personality to it, and the transformation is, I mean, we're going to probably see this transformation a few more times with other vehicle-based robots, Autobot and Decepticon. And I mean, and really, Thunderhoof. I mean, for all you AC/DC fans, you've been Thunderhoof. Burn, 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 burn. I'm sorry, I think I just alienated all my AC/DC fans. Humor aside, I think the one-step lines and the simplified lines overall there are really some gems in there that I think a lot of collectors and fans miss. These are available right now on Amazon.com and eBay, but Amazon has them in stock, shipped and sold by Amazon, as well as on Hasbro Toy Shop. So either way, you can get some great figures for a reasonable price. This is your old pal Chuck, for Drift, Thunderhoof, and Fracture. We will see you next time.